All right, so for the electric portion on this, I think it was played by Keith Richards, as it kind of mirrors what he's doing on the 12-string acoustic guitar. So I'll break it down part by part. So at the beginning, we have this intro, and he's doing pretty much everything in E minor, and then he hits occasionally. He'll hit a note from the natural minor scale. So we'll get into that, but it starts off with this little double stop lick. Okay, so all that is the B and the E string on the 10th fret of the E and the 12th fret of the B. And then it just slides down a whole step to the 8th and 10th fret, and then the 7th and 8th fret. So it's sort of just outlining a G chord. So then, for the next part, he just repeats that, then we're into the verse. So for the verse, he's doing a variation of an idea on top of this. So it starts off with the just a B minor, right? So from the 9th fret of the D string down to the E string, we have 9, 7, 7, 7. All right, and he does this cool little arpeggiated part where he's barring the 7th fret on the G and B strings. And then he's walking up this note while alternating off of this D note on the 7th fret. Then he goes back down. Alright, then from there he goes to a G major inverted chord. So what that is, the 9th fret on the D string, 7th fret on the G string, 8th fret on the B, and 7th fret on the high E. So we've got an inverted G major chord. Alright, and then from there we go to an A minor. It's the same voicing as the B minor, just 7th fret, 5th fret, 5th fret, 5th fret. Alright, then the next chord goes to a C, so he's just playing the D string, the G string, and the B string. And then he goes up to a D, so he just slides that shape up. And then we're back to that G shape, which is the D shape, just up on the 7th position. Alright, and then we get this cool lick, right? Alright, so what that is, it's a D chord again, it's a D shape. It's working as a B minor 7th in this position, but we have the 7th fret on the D, G, and B strings, and then his first finger's back here on the 5th fret of the B string. And then he just lets that ring as it gets to repeats the verse over the B again. So it's really cool. He's just hanging on that 3rd. So this whole section slowly sounds like this. Alright, the next part of the first verse, it's pretty much the same thing, he's just doing a variation of that. So we get to that, that hangs on there, so we come off this. Alright, and then it goes to that G shape, the D-shaped G chord. Then we have this. So it's just a variation of that, that arpeggio he's doing. Then we go back to this lick again. Right, then he does this, which is just sort of based off an A minor shape. It's a I'm sorry, a D minor shape, but it's an A minor chord. From the G string, it's 9, 10, and 8. Then he goes, which is coming off of a C shape. Then we have that D chord again, A shape. All right, then we repeat this back. Okay, so the verse section in the beginning is really just it's just that idea, and he's sort of playing around with it. It seems like he had an idea, a riff that he's working off of, and he was just kind of sort of letting it fly. So for the chorus, it's same thing. It's a variation of the same idea. So what that is, all right. So up on the D and the B string, the 4th and 2nd string. Basically, the idea is this. You got the 12th fret on both, and he's alternating. You can do pick or hybrid, pick and finger. And he changes the rhythm of that each time. But all right, and so what it's doing, it's going up to a sort of a B minor to an A minor, outlining an A minor, because the first chord in the chorus is that A minor. And then he goes back up. So that's the 9th fret on the D and the 8th fret on the B. It's 7 and 6 on the same string for the F chord. And then it's 5 and 5 on the same string for the C chord. So he's just outlining chords. He's just playing the outside notes of the chords. So it's just a cool way of making those chords pop. And the chord that's not in the key is that F chord. So everything is just, it's totally diatonic except for that F chord, which is what gives it that kind of country sound, that Neil Young sound. So it's just a cool little trick if you're doing it in your own writing. If you're staying in the key and you sort of hit that flat 7 chord, that major chord, that will give it sort of this vibe. Then we're back into the verse again. So okay, so the second part of this, I guess it would be the second verse, or the 4th verse, depending on how you're counting it. The second part is when he starts soloing. So for almost the entire solo and every single solo section, he pretty much stays in the same box. So here's the idea. You've got, it's all E minor. So it's all E minor. So here's what it is. So we've got 7th fret on the G string, 9th fret on the G string, 8th fret on the B string, 10th fret on the B string, and he's sort of just getting the 10th fret on the high E string. So pretty much the whole thing is just in that position. When the chord goes to a B minor, he drops it down to this natural minor note, the 7th fret on the B string, and that accentuates that B minor. So the big thing to pay attention to in how he's playing it is actually that he's sort of copying some country licks. It's not really a soft, mellow playing style he's doing on most of it. A lot of he's sort of aggressive. So you get those so there's those country like pedal steel licks, right? As opposed to like, it's kind of cut off the note. You get that. One of the cool parts is during the bridge section, that little interlude section, when the chords are going from F to C. He pulls sort of a Chuck Berry lick, like something Chuck Berry would do on like Johnny B. Good. So we get this. So what that is, instead of, what is you're working sort of on a C. He's going between C minor pentatonic and a C major thing. So he's got the 8th fret on the high E string, and he's sliding from the 11th fret to sort of nowhere on the B string. Right? Then he gets up to, so that's just a D shape, but up on the 12th fret, so it's C chord. So there's your like pentatonic, C pentatonic minor. Then we've got that, so that's a cool little stretch. Instead of doing a pentatonic minor thing, he goes up to the 12th fret to the major third. So right from major to minor, major, right back to the major chord. So he's just outlining a C chord, D chord, right back to the 5th of the G. So it seems like Keith is really aware of these chord tones, these 1, 3, and 5s, and he's making use of it. He's really just really hanging out and nailing these changes in a really cool way, which is giving it this sort of hanging out there vibe. The fact that the verse starts on the 3 chord is another thing that makes it feel a little incomplete. It's probably the worst word. It makes it feel a little bit kind of like it's melancholy. It's hanging out there. So the fact that he's going to the B minor, and we're in the key of G, gives it that sort of melancholy vibe. So there's a lot of really cool hidden things in here. So just in Keith Richards stuff, we've got these pedal steel little licks. We've got the Chuck Berry licks. And then for the whole last verse, he's just playing in that scale. And that's it. He's just finding little ways to phrase around that. And he's sort of nailing the changes. When it goes to that B minor, he's either getting that F sharp note on the 7th fret, or he's hitting the B note. So, like I said, this is a really good study in how to nail those chord changes. He's really aware of it going to the B minor. So, and then for the rest of it, it's really just going back and forth to that. And that's it. That's the section. It's just really 3 sections. You've got that little arpeggiated part. So a great way to study this would to sort of just play those chords in different inversions. And then he's got the next part, which is sort of the chorus, which is that those little country licks, and then he has the sort of B.B. King, Chuck Berry-esque little solos that are going on top. So he's wearing his influences on his sleeves. This is a really great tune to sort of play over and just stay out of the way of the vocal. All right, thanks. We will go to the next part.